Hi, this is Arango, and today I would like to show you how I currently do hair in Blender 2.76. So let's get started. Okay, if this is your first time in Blender, I recommend you go to File, User Preferences, go to Input, then choose Select with left click. Blender's default select is with right click, and this may confuse you if you're coming from Adobe or other 3D programs. For those of you currently watching this video, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. For those of you who would like to assist me in making videos for this channel, if you look to your upper right hand corner and you click on the button there, you can leave a donation of any amount, which would be greatly appreciated. And that would assist me in making videos for this channel. A dollar goes a lot further than you think that it would go. So if you choose to do that, thank you. Thank you as well for watching this video in the first place. Okay, in Blender, there's many different ways of doing hair. This is just the current one that I'm currently using. I showed a bunch of other ways that I do hair on this YouTube channel. So this is just another way that I'm currently using, and it'll be interesting to see how long I stay with this one. But for now, this is the one that I like. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is roll our mouse wheel back. I'm then going to press and hold Shift, then press A. This brings up our Add To menu. I'm already on the mesh selection, so I'm going to go to Cube and then left click to select Cube. Okay, when you come into Blender, you come in Object Mode, which is the mode that we're currently in. With this cube selected, we're going to left click here and then select Edit Mode. So now we're in Edit Mode. Since we're in Edit Mode, we're going to press W to bring up our Specials menu, and then we're going to select Subdivide Smooth by left clicking here. So now we have our subdivided cube right here. Okay, what we're going to do is roll the mouse wheel to zoom back some. We're then going to press S to scale on the X-axis to pull the sides in like that. We're then going to press S to scale on the Z-axis to make this a little bit longer, and then left click to lock in. Okay, now I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. You can see it looks, pretty fat right there. We're going to press S to scale on the Y-axis. See that green line? It's showing you a preview of how we're going to go. So I'm just going to push this in to make this thinner. And now what I'm going to do is, with Edge Select on, I'm going to hover my mouse here. I'm going to hold the Alt key, left click here, which allows us to select this whole loop right here. Then I'm going to take this right here, which is the manipulator inside of Blender, and I'm just going to push this forward something like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is hover our mouse right here. I'm going to press and hold Control, then press R, then left click to put a loop cut right there. I'm going to left click again to totally lock that in. I'm going to hover here. I'm going to press and hold Control, then press R to put another loop cut right here. I'm going to left click to lock in, left click again to totally lock in. Okay, now what I'm going to do is hold the middle mouse button to rotate the view. I'm going to hover my mouse right here. I'm going to hold Control, then press R to put a loop cut right here. Left click once to partially lock in, which when I say partially, what that allows you to do is when you left click one time, you can move this loop cut. I'm going to left click a second time to totally lock that in. I'm going to hover here. I'm going to press and hold Control, then press R to put a loop cut in. I'm going to left click once, then left click a second time to totally lock in. Okay, what we're going to do now is I'm going to hold Alt, select right here while holding Alt. Now I'm still holding down Alt. Now I'm also pressing Shift. So I'm holding Alt as well as Shift currently right now. So with both of those buttons still held down, I'm selecting this loop cut right here. Now I'm releasing both of those buttons. Okay, now with both of these loop cuts selected, what we're going to do is press and hold Control, and then while holding Control, we're going to press B. Then we're just going to pull to the side a little bit like that, then left click to lock in. And then now with that geometry still selected, we're going to go to right here where it says segments, and this is the options for our bevel tool, and that's what we just did, or I guess you could say bevel technique. We just beveled those edges. So what we're going to do is, where it says segments, we're going to click this to 2, and you can see there's another loop cut that is now going down the center of this selected geometry on this side. So then we're going to click where it says profile here, and then we're going to change that to 1, and then we're going to left click to lock in. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to press A to deselect. I'm going to, with the edge select on, I'm going to hold Alt. I'm going to select here. I'm then going to hold Shift while holding Alt. I'm also going to select right here. Then I'm going to press S to scale. You want to scale in fairly deep so you have it like a nice, deep inset in there. So I'm going to press A to deselect. Okay, with that done, what we're going to do now is I'm going to scroll this up. We're going to press A here to select all of that. We're going to press and hold Control, then press 2. This is a shortcut to put a subdivision surface modifier on this mesh. We're going to press Z, then we're going to select Shade Smooth. Then we're going to go right here. These are our modifier, our subdivision surface modifier options. So we're going to click here so it looks like that subdivision surface modifier is actually applied. Okay, so now that we have that done, what we're going to do now is we're going to click here, go back to object mode. We're going to press S to scale. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. I'm going to press S to scale down some more. I'm going to pull this up like here, around here. Hold the middle mouse button just to take a look. I'm going to press S to scale it down some more. Push this forward slightly like that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to click here to go to front view. I'm going to right click here to put my 3D cursor right here. I'm going to click here to change the pivot point from Blender's default pivot point to the 3D cursor. And then with this hairpiece selected, I'm going to click here and then go into edit mode. Okay, and something else we want to do is make sure that we duplicate this hairpiece before we start to manipulate it. So we're going to press Shift and D, then left click to lock in. We're going to drag a piece to the side. Okay, what we're going to do now is press A to deselect. We're going to hover our mouse right here. We're going to press L to select this entire piece of geometry. We're going to hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side. We're going to press R to rotate on the X-axis like this. Left click to lock in. We're going to pull this up some like that. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to press L here to select this geometry. I'm just going to push that back a little bit for now. Okay, I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to zoom in. I'm going to press A to deselect the other hair piece. I'm going to hold Shift and the middle mouse button to pan, holding the middle mouse button to rotate. And I'm going to, actually, let me take a look. Click here so I'm rotating off of that selection there. And I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hover here, press L. I'm going to press H just to temporarily hide that. And what we're going to do now is we're going to hover here, press L. Then we're going to press Shift and D. Left click to lock in to duplicate this. Now we're going to pull straight back like this. I'm going to right click to put the 3D cursor there. We're going to press R to rotate on the X-axis like this. Press S to scale. It's down some. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hover here. I'm going to press L. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm just looking as I turn around. I'm going to press Shift and D to duplicate. Then I'm going to left click to lock in. Pull this back some. Push it back some with the manipulator. Shrink this down some. Pull it over some more. Okay, I'm going to press and hold Shift, then D, duplicate again. Pull this back just a little bit. And basically what we're doing is we only have to worry about one side, because once we have the hair looking somewhat like we want, we'll just duplicate the hair to the other side. Okay, and generally I like to have the one main piece in the center and then 3 pieces to the side of it. What we're going to do now is I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm actually going to hover here, press L, L, as well as L here. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the back. I'm going to press and hold Shift and press D. Left click to lock in. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. Push back here. I'm going to press R to rotate on the X axis. I'm going to right click to get my 3D cursor to come here so that this hair will rotate or pivot on this 3D cursor. So I'm going to press R to rotate on the X axis just like that. And I'm moving it just so that it's, when we mirror it over, it'll, pretty much line up and cover that side of the head. Hold the middle mouse button to turn back towards the front. I'm going to press A to deselect. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to rotate the view. Right here is kind of flat looking. So what we want is this detail here to be turned to the side more. So what we're going to do is click here and change this pivot point, which is currently set for the 3D cursor, back to Blender's default pivot point, which is the medium point. Then we're going to hover here, press L. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to rotate the view some. And then I'm going to press R to rotate on the Y axis. And I'm just doing that, see, to get this detail here to point out to the side. I'm going to press A to deselect. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to hover here, press L. I'm going to press R to rotate on the Y axis. Same thing, just getting that detail to point to the side. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hover here, press L. Then I'm going to press R to rotate on the Y axis here, like that. Then left click to lock in. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hover here, press L, L. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button. I'm going to hover here, press L, L, as well as L here. Okay, now I'm going to select front view. I'm going to hold Shift the middle mouse button to pan the view. Still holding Shift, hold the middle mouse button again to pan the view again. I'm going to press Shift, then B, draw a box to zoom in a little bit more. I'm going to press Shift, then C. And what that does is that puts the 3D cursor directly in the center of our scene. I'm going to press Shift, then B again to zoom in close again. And I'm going to change the pivot point back to the 3D cursor and take it away from Blender's default pivot point, which is the medium point. And what this allows us to do is duplicate this geometry and then basically pivot it over to the other side. So we're going to press Shift, then D. I pull it to the side just so I know that the geometry is copied. I'm going to right click to get that geometry to jump right back into place. Okay, now what I'm going to do is press S to scale on the X axis -1 and then left click to lock in. If you look at the shading here, it looks a little bit off. It's because our normals are not facing the right direction since I duplicated the geometry and mirrored it. That's easy to fix. We're just going to hold Control, then press N. That recalculates our normals and it takes away that weird shading. Normals are basically the direction that polygons face. When they're not facing the right direction, Blender shows you they're not facing the right direction by putting kind of like a weird shading effect on them. Okay, now what we're going to do is click here, change this pivot point from the 3D cursor back to Blender's default pivot point, which is medium point. We're going to click here, then go to scope mode. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn towards the back. Here in scope mode, these are our scope brushes here. The main brushes we're going to use in here are the grab brush as well as the inflate brush. We're going to click on the inflate brush. See this space right there? We're going to press F and then pull our mouse, which allows us to increase our brush. Just by going like this, we can increase the volume of the hair and makes it look better. I'm going to click here, go to the grab brush, and we're going to grab here. Now, the reason why this is moving here is because inside of, even though his hair doesn't have a mirror modifier on, if I scroll down here, see where it says symmetry lock here, if I click here, scope mode automatically kind of has something like the mirror modifier on it, and this is called the symmetry lock. So if you don't want the hair to mirror your movements from one side to the other, you just unclick this right here. Okay, and see this right here, this space, we can just scroll up, click here, go to inflate, and pick and choose to inflate there. And what I like about this hair method is it's fairly quick, it's easy to set up, it's pretty versatile. I generally like the look. You can, if you want to do more cartoony, you can use like less hair pieces to place your hair. If you want to make it more realistic looking, you can increase the amount of hair parts that you use or hair pieces that you use. I also find that it's better when you use the grab brush to move in small increments. Hold the middle mouse button and turn back towards the front. Okay, now we can scroll this up, click here, go to the inflate brush, and just inflate this here to fill in the some of the gaps there. Okay, I'm going to hold shift and middle mouse button to pan up. Okay, and what I generally like about this way of doing hair this way is I generally like the way it looks. If you want to do more cartoony style, you can easily decrease the amount of geometry you use for the hair. You know, also if you want to do a more realistic, you can increase the geometry for the hair as far as either subdividing it or just increasing the actual different pieces of the hair. And then you can fairly easily come into sculpt mode and, you know, adjust the hair how you want it to be adjusted. Okay, what we're going to do now is click here, go back to edit mode. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hold Alt, then H to unhide that piece right there. I'm going to press G to pull this piece over like that, then left click to lock in. I'm going to press Shift D, then left click to lock that duplicate in. I'm going to pull this to the side. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button, bring this forward. And actually, I had done another, hold the middle mouse button to rotate. I had done another hair tutorial, and Marius Oblerhosters had mentioned to me, I'm pressing R to rotate on the Y axis, that the hair worked well as far as beards. And I was like, oh, look at that. I didn't even really think about that at the time. And one of the things that this hair method does is it does a pretty cool job of, you know, doing beards. I'm holding the middle mouse button, turn. Just getting this kind of into place. I'm going to press R to rotate on the Y axis a little. Right click here. I'm going to change this pivot point from Blender's default pivot point, which is the medium point, to the 3D cursor. I'm going to press R to rotate on the, actually the Z axis is what you want. So yeah, when Marius had said that, I was like, oh, let me try it out. And this actually does work pretty well for making beards. I'm going to press Shift and D. By the way, you ever want to make toon shading graphics, Marius Oblerhosters is definitely the man to see. I recommend you go check out his website if you're interested in that. But yeah, Marius, he made me think of this, so I'm you know, thankful to him for even bringing that idea up. I'm going to press R to rotate on the Z axis and R to rotate on the Y axis here. You can still see it's rotating from that pivot point, which is fine. I'm going to press S to scale. I'm going to click here and change this from the 3D cursor back to Blender's default pivot point, which is the medium point. I'm going to press R to rotate on the Y axis. Press Shift D to duplicate. Bring this over. Up some, hold the middle mouse button to rotate back. Put that there. I'm going to press Shift D, left click to lock in, push this over, hold the middle mouse button to rotate. And see how this flat is shown? So we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to press R to rotate on the Z axis so we can turn the hair kind of out. So the detail part is showing out. Sometimes I'll see when you in Blender, one of the cool things they do is it shows you preview lines of how you're rotating. So sometimes as I'm talking, it's sometimes hard to talk and think, and I'll just look at the preview lines and I'll just click through, you know, the Z axis, X axis, or Y axis until I get the rotation that I want. I'm gonna press A to deselect. I'm gonna press L to select this, push this down a little bit. I'm gonna hold the middle mouse button to turn. I'm gonna press A to deselect. I'm gonna hover here, press L. select here, press R to rotate on the Z axis, press S to scale on the Y axis, something like that. And press A to deselect. I'm going to hover here, then press L. Okay, I'm going to press Shift D, left click to lock in, drag this over here some, hold the middle mouse button, turn to the side, push this forward some. I'm going to press S to scale on the Z axis and push this up some, like that. And press R to rotate on the Z axis like this. Okay, I had showed you guys the proportional edit tool before. I'm going to press A to deselect. If we click here and we click enable, we'll do the regular proportional edit tool, which allows you to manipulate more than one vertex, edge, or face at a time. You actually manipulate the number of faces dependent on the area of influence that the proportional editing tool has, which you can see by the circle that you can grow or shrink. If we click connected, basically what happens is we still have all those abilities. However, we will only influence the geometry that we currently have selected. Okay, so with that being said, what we're going to do is with edge select on, we're going to hold Alt. We're going to select right here. We're going to press G so we see our area of influence. We're going to push up just some slightly. I'm going to hold Alt, select here, press G, push up. So I'm just moving this away from the lips somewhat. Okay, with that done, we're going to press A to deselect. Okay, we're going to hold Shift and middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn to the side. I'm going to hover here and press L. I'm going to press R to rotate on the Z axis to rotate this out some. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hover here to press L. I'm going to press Shift D, left click to lock in. I'm just going to take this and, push this here. I'm going to press A to deselect. Okay, I'm going to hold the middle mouse button and turn to the side. I'm going to hover here. I'm going to press L. I'm going to press and hold Shift, then press D, left click to lock in. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to click here and then select disable to turn off the proportional editing tool. I'm going to press R to rotate on the there you go, the X axis. I'm going to move this up. I'm going to press R to rotate on the Z axis. Then I'm going to take this out like here. I'm going to press R to rotate on the Z axis some more. Bring this here. Hold the middle mouse button to rotate the view. Pull this out some. I'm going to press S to scale on the Z axis to thin this up some. Then left click to lock in. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to click here to activate the connected proportional editing tool. The connected proportional editing tool is just like the regular connected proportional editing tool. However, it deals just with your currently selected piece of geometry. Okay, so with edge select on, I'm going to hold Alt, select right here. I'm going to press G, then press Z to pull this up some. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to help me manipulate the shape. I'm going to left click to lock in. Okay, now I'm going to press L while hovering over here. Push this down some. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button. Push this back some. I'm going to press R to rotate on the X axis like this. I'm going to press S to scale on the Z axis some like that. Hold the middle mouse button just to rotate the view. Pushing this out some. I'm going to press S to scale. Shrink that down some. Take the manipulator and push this to the side some. I'm going to press R to rotate on the X axis, something like that. Hold the middle mouse button just to change the view to make it, easier to see what's going on. I'm going to press R to rotate on the Z axis some. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to zoom in a little. I'm going to hold Alt, select here. I'm going to press G, then I'm going to roll the mouse wheel to shrink the area of influence. I'm going to press Z, see the preview line. And I want him to look stern, but I don't want him quite to look angry, so I'm just raising that eyebrow up a little bit. I'm going to left click to lock in there. Okay, I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to roll the mouse wheel back. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button just to take a look at the side. What I'm going to do now is hover here, press L, 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 L as I hover over all of those different pieces. I am then going to go to the navigation tab, select front to go to front view. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I am going to change the pivot point from Blender's default pivot point, which is the medium point, to the 3D cursor. I'm going to press Shift C to make sure the 3D cursor is directly in the center. I'm going to press Shift then D, pull to the side so I know the geometry is definitely duplicated. I'm going to right click to get that to jump right back. I'm then going to press S to scale on the X axis, -1, and then left click to lock in. I'm then going to press and hold Control, then N, which recalculates the normals just to make sure that they are, the normals being they are facing the right direction. Okay, what we're going to do now is press A to deselect. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button here. I'm going to press C for paint select. Select different pieces of all of this right here. Press right click to get out of that. Hold the middle mouse button to turn back towards the back. Press C for here. Then I'm going to press Control L, which selects all that geometry right there. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button to turn back towards the front. I'm going to press H to hide. The reason why we're hiding this is we're about to go into sculpt mode. While this looks hidden here, in sculpt mode, we'll be able to see that hair. However, because it's hidden in edit mode, we won't be able to manipulate it, which is a good thing, as that will allow us to take the beard pieces and push them where we want without affecting the hair that's on top of the head. Okay, so I'm going to press Shift and B to zoom in here. I'm going to click here and change this pivot point from the 3D cursor back to Blender's default pivot point, which is the medium point. I'm going to click here, then go into sculpt mode. And what we're going to do in sculpt mode is click here. We're going to make sure we're on the inflate tool, which we are. And see those spaces right there in the beard? We can fairly easily fill them in just by going like this. And see, if I click here, see how there's nothing is affected there, and that's good because I can click here, go to grab the grab brush, and actually this is being affected. I've rolled the mouse wheel to zoom in. I'm going to hold Shift and middle mouse button to pan. Hold the middle mouse button to change the view. But I can actually like pull this hair like up. So it's pretty cool how you can do that. Holding the middle mouse button to change the view. Put some more curved or a more curved look to this hair right here. Okay, as far as this hair technique, it's pretty versatile. It's pretty easy to manipulate and work with. It's cool how you can fairly quickly, set up hair for the top of the hair as far as even the face is concerned using this hair technique. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click here, go to edit mode. I'm going to press and hold Alt, then H to unhide that hair right there. I'm going to press A to deselect. I'm going to hover here, press L to select that geometry. I'm going to press X to bring up the delete menu. I'm then going to choose faces to delete that geometry there. Okay, I'm going to click here, go to scope mode. I'm going to hold Control, hold the middle mouse button to zoom back. I'm going to hold the middle mouse button just to take a look, and yeah, I like how this hair looks. This hair technique works well for multiple hairstyles as well as anime style hair. Okay guys, that's it for the tutorial. For all of those of you out there who like the videos on this channel and reshare them, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Also, to those of you who are new to this channel, if you like the videos on this channel and you would like to see more, please subscribe, and thank you for viewing.